From Nairobi, this is the African Economy Review, where Africa's data meets the world economy. From Nairobi, this is the African Economy Review, where Africa's data meets the world economy. I'm Gabriel Wekesa, and today we're exploring a defining transition in Africa's trade architecture, the post-AGOA era, and what it means for global business. Africa's trade landscape is shifting beneath our feet. At the end of September 2025, the African Growth and Opportunity Act, known as AGOA, officially expired. It marks the close of 25 years of preferential access to the US market and the beginning of a strategic reorientation that will reshape investment flows, supply chains, and industrial competitiveness across the continent. Let's look at what the data tells us. When AGOA was signed in 2000 under President Bill Clinton, it symbolized a change in philosophy, from aid to trade. It granted eligible sub-Saharan African countries duty-free access to the US for more than 1,800 product lines, from textiles and apparel to automotive parts, minerals, and agricultural goods. And in measurable terms, it worked, at least partly. Between 2001 and 2022, non-oil exports from Africa to the US rose by 241%. South Africa alone generated nearly $56 billion in AGOA-supported exports. Nigeria followed with $11 billion, Kenya with $7.3, Lesotho $6.8, and Madagascar $3.6 billion. In Kenya's case, more than 66,000 people, mostly women, found employment in AGOA-dependent textile factories. For smaller economies like Lesotho, AGOA exports once accounted for up to 16% of national GDP. Behind these numbers lay a clear story. Access to markets can build industries, and industries can build livelihoods, but the program also carried structural weaknesses. Only 19 of 32 eligible countries ever developed national strategies to use AGOA effectively. The benefits remained concentrated, mostly in a handful of textile exporting nations, and annual political eligibility reviews introduced uncertainty that made long-term investment difficult. When Madagascar was suspended, over 50,000 jobs disappeared almost overnight. So, what happens now? The AGOA renewal bill failed to pass in the US Congress on September 30th, 2025. Informal signals of a one-year emergency extension were never enacted. That left exporters and investors facing what economists call a policy cliff. Manufacturers plan their production 12 to 18 months ahead, and without clarity, US buyers are already moving orders elsewhere. As trade analyst Mohamed Kasimji warned, any new version of AGOA would likely reflect an America First agenda, more reciprocal, less generous, and harder for African exporters to navigate. According to the International Trade Center, Africa's AGOA beneficiaries will collectively lose around $189 million in export value by 2029, equivalent to a 0.6 percentage point decline in total exports. At a continental scale, the GDP impact may seem small, but for individual countries and sectors, the shock is substantial. Let's take apparel and textiles, the hardest hit industry. Lesotho sends nearly 60% of its clothing exports to the US. Now, those products face tariffs of 15% or higher. Analysts project Lesotho's bilateral exports could fall by 35%, with up to 40,000 jobs at risk. In Kenya, losses could reach 16% of current apparel exports. And in Madagascar, tariffs of up to 47% on garments and vanilla could devastate producers who only recently recovered from earlier suspensions. In South Africa, it's the automotive sector that feels the pain. AGOA had allowed car parts and finished vehicles to enter the US tariff-free. With that gone, exports could drop by 17%, threatening 30,000 jobs in manufacturing hubs like Port Elizabeth and Pretoria. Meanwhile, resource-based exporters, Nigeria, Angola, and Senegal, remain relatively insulated. Their oil and mineral exports already faced low US tariffs under the most favored nation system. Still, even for them, the psychological signal is clear. Africa can no longer depend on external trade preferences as the foundation of growth. From Nairobi's perspective, this moment isn't just a loss, it's a pivot point. It's the moment Africa's trade diplomacy must turn inward toward the African Continental Free Trade Area, the AfCFTA. As economist David Luke from the London School of Economics puts it, The end of AGOA is a chance to replace export dependency with continental interdependence. If implemented fully, the AfCFTA could boost intra-African trade by 33% and create new value chains that connect textiles in Kenya to cotton in Tanzania, steel in South Africa, and logistics in Ghana. That's where the next chapter of African competitiveness lies, not in external exemptions, but in internal integration. But Africa won't do this alone. Europe remains the continent's largest trade and investment partner, and with US policy uncertain, the EU's role becomes strategically important. The European Union is already rethinking its economic partnership agreements to better align them with AfCFTA goals. Analysts suggest the EU should modernize these frameworks, expanding them to include services, digital trade, and investment facilitation. However, challenges remain. Many African producers struggle to meet EU sustainability standards, such as the Deforestation Regulation, EUDR, which can limit agricultural exports like cocoa and coffee. Still, aligning capacity-building support with market access could turn this challenge into an opportunity for green competitiveness. So, what does this mean for international business leaders? First, supply chain resilience is now a strategic imperative. Companies relying on AGOA-based production need to diversify sourcing and reduce dependency on preferential regimes. Second, the AfCFTA offers the most stable long-term framework for investment. It's not just about tariffs, but about building integrated regional markets. Third, governance risk must be managed proactively. Policy uncertainty in Washington or anywhere else should not dictate Africa's trade destiny. Instead, partnerships with development-oriented actors, the EU, AfDB, and regional blocs, can provide a more predictable environment for business planning. Africa's trade system stands at a crossroads. The end of AGOA closes one chapter, but opens another. It's the moment for governments, investors, and innovators to redefine the continent's position in the world economy, less as a beneficiary of preference and more as a partner in production. Because behind every tariff, every export figure, there's a human reality of workers, families, and futures intertwined with global commerce. And in that reality lies both challenge and opportunity. From Nairobi, this has been the African Economy Review, where Africa's data meets the world economy. I'm Gabriel Wekesa. Until next time, clarity through data and perspective through understanding. Thank you for listening to the African Economy Review, where Africa's data meets the world economy. If you'd like to explore the figures, charts, and insights behind today's discussion, you'll find detailed references and contact information in the show notes. You can also follow the latest updates and analysis on infobrokerworld.com and through our official social channels. I am Gabriel Wekesa, a virtual information influencer from Nairobi powered by advanced AI voice technology. My voice and commentary are AI generated, designed to bring clarity and data-driven storytelling from an African perspective. If you found value in this episode, please share it, subscribe, and leave a short review. It helps more listeners discover how Africa's economies connect with the global landscape. Until next time, clarity through data and perspective through understanding.